Alright, so we're going to go over my FactoryIO final project here. This will be the owner's manual. So we'll go over everything that happens within the program, within the process, within the factory. Start off with basically just an in-depth description of what goes on. We weigh the boxes at 4, 5, 7.5 pounds, and we sort them out depending on that weight, and then they get placed on pallets and ready for shipping. So this is just an in-depth description, the alarms that will go off, and then what the buttons do. And we'll jump into the factory. Here's my factory. Give you an overview from above. Basically, this is the buffer station, the weighing scale, the sorting pop-up table, and then the pick and place that places it on the robots. Zoom in here. This is the buffer station. We have the sensors that'll pick up the box. Due to latency, I had to add 2 sensors in there so it would make sure it picks up that box. Box comes up, stops, waits, goes on to the conveyor belt that weighs them. The weigh is displayed up here on the display. Again, 2 sensors to make sure it picks the box up. Once it weighs it, these pop-up wheel sorters will go a direction depending on the weight. These sensors here cancel out the memory that holds these in, because obviously as the box moves on and moves off, the weight on the conveyor itself is going to change. So these cancel out the memory that hold it in the correct direction. Then it goes down the conveyor belt over to the pick and place robot. As soon as it hits this sensor, this stop blade will help straighten the box. This pick and place will come down, grab the box, place it on the pallet, and off it goes. There's 3 little screens here on each machine. That is for the pallet count that machine has produced. The flashing yellow light is just the reset button that resets that count. We also have lights on top of each machine indicating whether it is ready to go. Right now they are yellow because the factory just needs to be reset, which is also why this light is on. Over here to the panel, the button that would reset it would be this one. That's going to let that yellow light go away. We'd be able to hit the green button on it to make it go. This flashing one is just to reset the entire factory. So if I were to press it, this box in the background would disappear. Resets the whole factory. You can click that as many times as you want. It's not going to do anything but reset everything. This button here clears the count off of this display because this displays every pallet count all added up. So we'll hop into it, press play, watch this bad boy run. But due to latency and some connection issues that I just haven't been able to figure out or fix, every now and then the e-stop will let go, causing this machine to stop. There's no really big deal about that other than the fact you just have to come over and press the start button again. So we'll start it up and then we'll follow a box through the process. We'll be able to lock onto this box and follow where it goes. This one's going to weigh between 7.5 to 8 pounds. So with this display it's going to bounce back and forth between 7 and 8. When we go left, that sensor cancels out the memory so they go straight again. We're going to wrap around this corner here. These 2 blades will straighten it out as much as it can because in FactoryIO you can only place stuff in certain locations. So that's as close as I can get without squeezing the box too hard. This blade will straighten it out like I said. Pick the box up, put it on the pallet, and off it goes. So now we'll let go of this box. Now we'll trigger an alarm. We can do this by hitting the settings, clicking on this pick and place, and forcing a fault. This will force it all the way over as if it were to be fully powered. Now it should not reach this box. It'll continue its cycle like it should, but now with this box sitting here too long, this sensor here is going to set off the alarm. The e-stop faulted out like I was talking about, but the alarm was still able to go off because the sensor was held down. Now that's going to spin, the siren's going to go off, and all 3 lights, or all 4 lights will be red. 1 on each machine, and then obviously the one on the panel. Now we can shut this alarm off by hitting the e-stop button, hitting the reset, saying we're ready to go again. You could, if you wanted to, hit this button, which will clear all the boxes off. And I'm just going to do it just for now. Hit that button, clear all the boxes. We'll make sure to go and take our fault back out of our machine, so it's ready to go again. And we can click go after we hit the reset one more time here. There we go. And we'll be ready to go. The machine will continue to run like normal. The reason that I added this buffer station in is so that it gives time for the conveyor scale to weigh the box correctly, because if you were to just go on and go off, the scale would not have long enough to measure the box. So that's why we have this buffer station here prior to slow them down. Now that a few boxes have run through, we'll let that last one go and then we'll stop it to make sure that there's a box on the scale. Stop the process. Then we're going to jump over to the program. So here we start off with the main routine. This is where the odds and ends are, the stuff that really doesn't belong in any certain routine, like such as the machine enable, any of the lights that have to go off just by pressing buttons. This here rung is for the alarms. If any of these conveyor timers get maxed out and they become true or done, then the alarm siren sounds like you saw before. The e-stop will cancel that out. This is also just the reset logic, so that when you press the start button, the reset makes it so you have to press it again. And we'll just go down. This is just the flasher bit created with the two counters here, so that they just toggle back and forth basically to make these flash on and off. These are the moves that make it reset. So when you press the reset button or the reset on the HMI, it will force all the robots to home or 0, 0. And then down here we have the counting. So this is where each pallet count gets added together to have the grand total. So currently we're sitting at 8 pallets made. We'll jump over the IO routine. This is basically just where all the buttons are mapped over. So a button from FactoryIO is mapped to a button we commonly know, or a bit that we commonly know in our program. So here's all the Boolean inputs mapped over to known tags, and vice versa. Here's our known tags mapped over to our Boolean outputs. So this is where everything's going to be at for that. You can find every tag in this list. Every tag that's in FactoryIO will be in here as well. You can always just add in tags as needed. Here's the pick and places, so we're moving numbers into the pick and place, and then it moves it over to that output. That way we're not trying to put numbers into flow out to when we have no idea what that is. We just reference it to our pick and place that we know what it is. Same thing going on here with the displays. We're moving numbers into the display tag, which then moves it into the in-out tag that we would normally not know of if it was sitting in a normal routine. We'll jump over to our buffer station. This is where it delays the boxes coming on, so when the sensors are not met, the conveyor belt will be on. We have our timers making our break, so right now they're running because the program is still in the background. This here is going to be our wait routine. So this is where I said that it takes that break, or it locks in that time after taking the break on the conveyor. So after the box is sat here for long enough, it'll lock in this wait done timer as long as the machine is running. Obviously right now we've hit the e-stop, so machine enable is off. Now if I were to hit start again, this would lock in this memory because both of these are being true, because it is less than 4.1 but greater than 3.9. Locking in that sorter right, because it has to go right, and then this wait timer would then lock that in so that we can hold it on until the box gets off the conveyor. Same for all three directions. The pop-up sorter is always on. That way, if we are at that 5-pound weight, roughly, then it'll just go straight. There's obviously no turns to take. And then this is just moving those values into the display. As you saw on the main panel, I didn't talk about that top display. That's because that one is currently not working. You can see the number here being forced into that display, but it's just not showing up in FactoryIO for some reason. This here is going to be the pick and place 1 routine. So as I scroll up, you can kind of just see it's a lot of moves, a lot of timers. Get to the top here. Basically, the stop blade is on all the time. That's what helps straighten out the box when it gets to the sensor. As long as the machine enable is on and the sensor is not tripped, the blocked conveyor